Yeah? Okay, I'm back with The Wayside School Beneath the Cloud of Doom. I'm going to read Chapter 2 and Chapter 3. Here's the picture for Chapter 2. Charlotte, can you close the door, please? It's called A Million. By the time Terrence got to school, he had already kicked 99 different things. It started the moment he woke up. He kicked his bed, he kicked Rocky, his favorite stuffed animal, and when he left his bedroom, he kicked the door shut. He kicked the wall as he sat at the kitchen counter and ate cereal. He kicked a table, he kicked 3 chairs, he kicked rocks on the way to school, he kicked the flagpole. Still, as much as Terrence liked to kick things, it would take him his whole life to kick a million things. How much is a million? Mrs. Jules asked her class. Ooh, I know, said Mac, stretching his hand. Mrs. Jules called on Mac. A million, Mac answered proudly. Well, yes, I suppose that's correct, said Mrs. Jules. A million is a million. Anyone else? John. John lowered his hand. 999,999. He paused and then added, +1. And he smiled. Ooh, that's good, John, said Dana, very impressed. John's really smart, Joe agreed. Terrence wasn't paying attention. His big toe hurt from all that kicking. His toenail was too long. Sherry, who had been sleeping at her desk, suddenly awoke and said, 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. She rested her head on her blue and red jacket and went back to sleep. And from the other books, what we know about Sherry is she sleeps all the time. Is that right, Mrs. Jules? Asked Jason. Said Mrs. Jules as she tried to multiply all of Sherry's tens. Well, if Sherry said it, it must be right. Arithmetic makes my brain numb, said Damien. Yeah, that's why they're called numbers, said DJ. You get it? Terrence's big toe throbbed in pain. He couldn't think about anything else. There's really one way to understand just how big a million is, said Mrs. Jules, and that is not by using math. We need to collect a million somethings. Dollars, exclaimed Joy, and everyone cheered. They liked that idea. Then we could have the biggest party ever, said Dee Dee. We're not collecting $1 million, said Mrs. Jules. Any other ideas? Pumpkins, said Dana. Everyone cheered at Dana's idea too, but not as loudly as Joy's. I don't think 1 million pumpkins would fit in the school, said Mrs. Jules. We need something small and not too expensive. Stephen suggested little pieces of paper. Nobody cheered. Boring, said Kathy. And remember, what do we know about Kathy? She's always crabby and kind of mean. Stephen felt hurt, but deep down he had to admit that collecting bits of paper wouldn't have been a whole lot of fun. Ron suggested mud, but that too was rejected. It's a good idea, Ron, said Mrs. Jules, but you can't count mud. Why not? He asked. Well, there's no such thing as 1 mud, 2 muds, explained Mrs. Jules. Why not? Ron asked again. I don't know, Mrs. Jules had to admit. And Terrence couldn't take it any longer. He took off his shoe and then his sock. One desk over, Rondi stared at him, horrified. Terrence's toenail was bent out of shape and it had turned black and blue. He opened his desk and took out his pair of safety scissors. Then, crossing one leg over the other, he started snipping. You can't cut your toenails in class, said Rondi. It's against the rules. Who said Terrence. It was one tough toenail, and the scissors weren't all that sharp. Mrs. Jules, called Rondi, Terrence is cutting his toenail, right in class. Some kids laughed, and some kids said, gross. Terrence pushed hard on the scissors, and at last a piece of his toenail fell free, and his toe instantly felt better. Terrence, come up here now, demanded Mrs. Jules, and bring your toenail with you. Terrence picked up the clipping off the floor. One shoe off, one shoe on, he hobbled to the front of the room. Give me that, Mrs. Jules demanded. Terrence dropped the nail clipping into his teacher's outstretched hand. You're a genius, Terrence, said Mrs. Jules, and she held his nail clipping high in the air. That's 1, she announced. 999,999 to go. That's the end of chapter 2. Chapter 3 is called Up and Down. And this chapter is about Mr. Pickle, but everyone calls him Mr. Pickle, and we met him in some of the other books. Up, said DJ. Down, said Kathy, who sat next to him. Up, DJ repeated. Down, Kathy insisted. In truth, Kathy didn't know what DJ was talking about. She just liked to argue. No matter what DJ said, she always said the opposite. Up, said DJ again. Down, Kathy instantly replied. Shh, said Dana, who sat behind Kathy. I'm trying to read. Kathy turned around. Dana's face was streaked with tears. Why are you crying? Asked Kathy. Dana showed her the book she had been reading, The Lost Giraffe. So? Said Kathy. Well, the giraffe is lost, Dana sobbed. Well, what did you expect, dummy? Said Kathy. She didn't like Dana any more than she liked DJ. Up, said DJ. Down, snapped Kathy. Dana, Kathy, DJ, said Mrs. Jules, you're making a lot of noise for silent reading. Sorry, said DJ. I can't help it. I have the hiccups. Kathy turned red. She'd been arguing with hiccups. Has this ever happened before? Mrs. Jules asked him. I've had the hiccups before, said DJ, but they always went away. Well, stand on your head and drink a glass of water, Myron suggested. Eat a lemon, said Jenny. Hold your tongue while you say the Pledge of Allegiance, said Joy. DJ tried all their suggestions, and when he finished, his mouth was puckered, his shirt was wet, and he still had the hiccups. He felt very patriotic, however. I think you better go see Dr. Pickle, said Mrs. Jules. Kathy will take you. Kathy hopped out of her seat, glad she didn't have to read. Come on, she said, and she led DJ out the door. Up, hiccuped DJ. Down, said Kathy. She couldn't help herself. Dr. Pickle's real name was Dr. Pickell. His office was on the 4th floor, and Kathy knocked on the door. Dr. Pickle opened it. He had a pointy beard and wore glasses. Yes, he said. Stupids here has got the hiccup, said Kathy. Up, hiccuped DJ. Down, said Kathy. Dr. Pickle rubbed his chin. Very interesting, he muttered, although he was looking at Kathy, not at DJ. Very, very interesting. He told Kathy to wait and invited DJ inside. And he smiles too much too, Kathy said just before he shut the door. DJ sat down on the couch. Dr. Pickle sat across from him. He held a long gold chain. On one end hung a green stone shaped like a pickle. Dr. Pickle gently swung the stone back and forth. Watch the pickle, he said. His voice was warm and soothing. DJ's eyes moved back and forth with the pickle. I will count to 5, and when you fall into a deep, deep sleep, Dr. Pickle slowly counted. 1, 2, boo! DJ fell off the couch. Well, asked Dr. Pickle. DJ got up and he waited a moment. I think they're gone. Dr. Pickle led him to the door. First thing we learned in psychiatrist school, he said, patting DJ on the head. My hiccups are all gone, DJ told Kathy. Who cares, said Kathy. Wait, said Dr. Pickle. Would you mind stepping inside my office, young lady? Me? Asked Kathy. Please, said Dr. Pickle. He's the sicko, said Kathy, pointing at DJ. Please, Mr. Pickle repeated. Kathy shrugged, then entered the counselor's office. Hey, your beard's really ugly, she said, and I guess your face must be even worse, huh? DJ sat on the floor in the hallway with his back against the wall, waiting for Kathy. He smiled, happy that his hiccups were gone, although he missed them a little bit too. Hiccups are annoying, but kind of fun. Sometime later, the counselor's door opened. Thank you, Dr. Pickell, said Kathy, calling him by his proper name. You are very wise, and I love your beard. That's very nice of you to say, Kathy, said the school counselor. She stepped out the door. Hi, DJ, she greeted him. Thanks for waiting. You're such a good friend. The smile left DJ's face. Something was definitely wrong with Kathy. Let's go up, said DJ. Yes, up, Kathy agreed. Now he was really worried. That's the end of chapter 2 and 3, and we'll see you tomorrow.